Between West 18th and 24th Streets in Manhattan, there is a wound in the earth called the Moth, a colossal sinkhole nearly half a mile wide, so black that even light itself seems to die when it touches it. What looks like a geological disaster is something far stranger, a portal to another world, a dark world, a realm filled with alien darkness and monstrous life. The edges of the Moth are ringed with nova lights, the most advanced illumination technology humanity has, shining in concentric patterns to keep the dark at bay. Tourists flock to see it, to take selfies against the reinforced glass barriers, to gawk and tremble at the impossible abyss. But beneath the spectacle and the security briefings, everyone, the guards, the guides, the xenoscientists, shares the same instinct. Something down there is alive, and it's breathing. Among those who live and work around the Moth is Sassia, an 18-year-old tour guide who knows the shadows better than most. 6 months into her job, she's grown used to the hum of fear that coils around her spine every time she peers into the black. To her, the Moth isn't just a horror, it's a second chance. She once had a future that glittered. A gifted student, handpicked for the elite Umbra program for young researchers, provisionally accepted into Columbia University. But she crashed spectacularly, botching her exams and wasting her shot at the Ivy League. Now she's taking remedial courses, retaking SATs, and making ends meet by leading exclusive Dark World tour for curious thrill seekers. It's not glamorous, but it's her way back to stability, and, in some twisted way, it keeps her close to what she loves, the dark itself. Her latest client, Yvonne Colemanjow, is a first-year Juilliard student from Chicago. Polite, tense, and wide-eyed, she's never seen anything like the Moth, not even in a city where the occasional dark beast still slips through from the other side. Sassia launches into her rehearsed speech, polished from months of tour. The Moth's official name is NY18 Sinkhole, but its true identity is a dark hole, a place where the boundary between worlds has ruptured. It's the second largest such rupture on the planet, smaller only than the Pit of Shanghai. Scientists, xenoscientists, have cataloged hundreds of dark creatures within, beasts that resemble the animals of Earth but warped into something alien and luminous. Some are as small as beetles, others, called dark beasts, can grow to titanic scale, even Godzilla-sized. Fortunately, she assures Yvonne, the defenses have held for 5 years since the last major breach. Whenever sensors detect movement in the depths, the novalights flare and light bombs detonate, sending any dark beast scurrying back into its abyssal home. Sassia's tone is breezy, her performance professional, a mask perfected to give tourists the illusion of safety. She knows the script by heart, when to pause for awe, when to smile, when to pivot away from questions she doesn't want to answer. But when Yvonne innocently asks about Sassia's university, noticing the Columbia-branded water bottle dangling from her bag, the mask almost slips. Sassia deflects, muttering something about a gap year. She's too embarrassed to admit the truth, that she's a failure by her father's standards, chasing shadows instead of scholarships. Yet Yvonne, it turns out, isn't here for the standard tour. She's heard whispers of something else, of fishing. Word of mouth has spread among certain circles that Sassia offers something illegal, something thrilling, the chance to fish in the dark. It's not the kind of immersive experience sanctioned by city authorities. Officially, no one is allowed to breach the barriers or open access points to the dark world. But Sassia's side hustle has become an underground legend. For the right price, she'll take clients to hidden entryways and let them drop a line into the abyss. When Yvonne hesitantly says she's looking to catch dark fireflies, Sassia almost laughs. Of course she is. Ever since a Harvard influencer filmed herself bottling them, every rich student has wanted the same glowing jar for their dorm room. Still, dark fireflies are harmless and easy to catch, and the job pays $100, good money for a broke pseudo-student. So Sassia agrees. They walk to Hell's Kitchen, slipping into a narrow alleyway where a decommissioned sewer access point hides beneath a manhole cover. Sassia unpacks her illicit equipment. A portable ring of nova lights, a folding fishing rod rigged with glue strips, a nova gun for emergencies, and tiny plastic specimen cups. She even has bait powdered dark flowers, something like pollen from the dark world. As the girl watches nervously, Sassia sets everything up, her movements swift and confident. This is where she feels alive, on the edge of danger, in the place where light falters. She tells Yvonne how it will go. Once the manhole opens, the darkness beneath will be absolute. The girl will hold the rod and lower the bait into the void. When she feels a tug, Sassia will cut the lights so the creatures aren't burned by the nova energy. Yvonne trembles but agrees. Sassia pries open the manhole, and there it is, the true dark, pure and unfiltered. It isn't just black, it's absence itself. No sound, no smell, no texture. A nothingness that swallows the senses. Sassia feels that old, impossible thrill rise inside her. The awe she first felt years ago during the event the world calls First Contact. They wait. To fill the silence, Sassia asks Yvonne where she was on May 2nd, the day of First Contact, when humanity learned that the dark world was real. Yvonne recalls the chaos. Walking into her living room to see news footage of the dark dragon tearing through downtown Shanghai, skyscrapers toppling in fire and shadow, Angela Herrera's televised scream, the gates of hell have opened. It was the day the impossible became undeniable, and thousands died before the world understood what was happening. For Sassia, too, that day was seared into memory. It changed everything. It proved that darkness wasn't just metaphor, it was alive. Then the fishing line jerks. It's biting. Sassia's heart leaps. She instructs Yvonne to start reeling in as she kills the lights. Instantly, the world plunges into cold, perfect black. Out of the manhole rises a swirling column of light dark flies, hundreds of them glowing like molten jewels. Their wings shimmer in translucent purples and blues, their movements synchronized in a hypnotic spiral. Yvonne gasps, enraptured, and scoops a dozen into a cup. The scene is breathtaking, a miniature aurora blooming out of darkness. For Sassia, this moment is addictive. She feeds on her client's awe and fear, drinking it in like oxygen. This is what she lives for, the raw, trembling sense that the world is larger, stranger, and more dangerous than anyone admits. But then something changes. The surface of the dark ripples again, not like before. Sassia, always careful, knows she's pushed the lights off for too long. She leans forward to grab her own sample cup, plunging her hand just deep enough to scoop a bit of the dark. That's when she feels it, fingers long, cold, and wrong brushing against her skin. Before she can react, they close around her wrist. She yanks back, and what comes with her is unmistakable, a hand, blue-gray, human-like, with knuckles and a thumb. A thumb! For one frozen instant, she and the impossible appendage exist together, half in and half out of two worlds. Then she fires the Nova gun. A blinding burst of light sears the air. The hand blackens, blisters, and vanishes into the hole. The dark flies fall dead. Yvonne, blinking away afterimages, laughs shakily. Warn me next time, those long, pale tentacles, even I could tell it was a dark squid. But Sassia isn't laughing, she's trembling, mind racing. Dark squids don't have thumbs, nothing from the dark does. Every scientific paper says the same, there are no humanoids on the other side, no intelligence comparable to human. The dark world is still in its evolutionary prehistory, a land of monsters, not people. So what did she just touch? Panic rising, Sassia packs her equipment in frantic motions and calls her cousin Danny, a xenoscience student at the Umbra program, the very program she once failed out of. He teases her at first, assuming she's just finished another illegal thrill tour, but when she blurts out the truth that she saw a hand, his tone hardens. He checks his sensors remotely. There was indeed a spike of dark activity near her location, time-stamped 7:49 p.m., powerful enough to register above baseline. Whatever it wasn't small. He tells her to get to the Umbra labs immediately. She balks. She doesn't want to face her old mentors or the ghosts of her own failure, least of all the people who saw her crash and burn, but Danny insists. Either she's lost her mind or she's made the most important discovery in years. Sassia finally agrees, though her heart sinks. Debunk, she tells herself, that's the scientific process. You observe, you hypothesize, and eventually you disprove. That's what she'll do. She'll prove it wasn't a hand, that it was a trick of fear or light or madness. Before she leaves, Yvonne reappears, still clutching her glowing cup of dark flies, blissfully unaware of the existential terror that's just taken place. She hands Sassia a crisp $100 bill and gushes about how amazing the experience was. Sassia warns her almost maternally to keep the fireflies hidden from light, to feed them powdered pollen, to release them when she inevitably grows bored. The dark remembers, she says. If you hurt them next time, it won't send you something pretty. Yvonne laughs uncertainly and thanks her again. As she leaves, she asks one last question. What's your first contact story? Everyone's got one. Sassia lies. Same as yours, she says lightly. Angela Herrera on TV, calling everyone I loved. But that, of course, isn't the truth.